glad you're giving me the opportunity to clarify it. So when everything, like I said, started to bubble over, we started to look at different proposals, different options, what we could do. And one of the options was one that is not original to me. I'll tell you the truth. It's what most developed countries do with their militaries, which is feeding per diem. And then the soldiers themselves have the spending power to be able to choose what they want in terms of meals, and who is operational or operationally deployed to a remote area is given an MRE. Now, this is a proposal that we started to run the numbers and see if it could work. Then I began to dialogue with the BDF, with the Coast Guard, and Admiral Soberanis said, well, because of the manner in which we operate for the Coast Guard, we are still able to take our fresh rations to deployed locations because we load the boat at Coast Guard base and we offload it at our forward operating base. We don't need to walk anywhere. We're not in a remote location. We have access to a kitchen everywhere we go. So fresh rations work for us. In the case of the BDF, they were receiving fresh rations, but they were also receiving a lot of canned goods. So the MRE option does work for them. So what we did was we bought the amount of MREs needed, and then we realized, okay, how can we get a good feeding allowance for the soldiers? And we started to run the numbers, and we are able to provide the soldiers. Now, prior to that, the daily entitlement for food was $13.50 per soldier per day. And that's how we kind of distributed all of the different rations, all of the different ingredients. We were able to get that up to $17 per soldier per day, regardless of whether you're deployed or not. And you will receive that. So if you're on camp, you will now have that money available to be able to buy your meals. For the soldiers that work on camps, they typically commute, so they can eat at home in the morning, eat at home in the evenings, and they have the $17 available. Additionally, you work, the typical rotation is 14 days off, 14 days on, 5 days off. So you're home for, at least 1 week out of every month. Also, if you're operationally deployed, you are still receiving the $17 a day, as well as receiving an MRE for the deployment. Now, we were able to do that because we're utilizing the funds that were already approved and available within the recurrent budget for the fresh rations that we're buying. In the case of the Coast Guard, we have to continue to buy the fresh rations. So it would have required us to either get a supplemental or budget for it properly the next financial year, which is what we chose to do. The Coast Guard will receive their feeding per diem, just that it will be rolled out in April when we budgeted for it properly.
So essentially, it's nothing close to what is being reported.
Nothing close. That's complete mischief. Complete.